Hello friends, welcome to the internet's favorite game show, Read It or Drink, where today I'm your host, Kayla. I'm also your only contestant, Kayla. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch a book haul from 1 year ago, and I have to either commit to reading every book that I see in it or take a shot in this moment. Here's the thing about me, I don't really read the books that I buy and I don't really drink. So I sent my husband, because I didn't feel confident in finding my own alcohol, I sent him to bring something back. I'm ugly today.
I don't play those fucking games. You want cheap tequila?
No, I think I have to have cheap tequila because I want a Mickey. I want you to go buy a 2.6 or a 40 of tequila. Who's gonna drink that?
So I'll just buy the best quality Mickey then.
I don't think I've ever seen a Mickey of tequila.
I'll bring something nice.
Some places have like pre-made shots. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's gin ones and there's rum ones. I don't know if there's tequila.
Okay, well if there's a tequila one, get that.
Because usually pre-mixed tequila just comes with Coke usually. I don't know if there's any other things that they get.
You just made that up.
No, because remember we had it.
We're so not drinkers. Tequila does not go with Coke. You're thinking rum.
Oh, grapefruit juice. Isn't it grapefruit juice? I think that's what you had.
Oh my god, that sounds so good.
Yeah. I got it. Let's go. Just take a green. That's eggs and booze.
Eggs and booze, what a bag. Genius. Patron Margaritaville.
And the best part, you can get some pretty sweet memory rocks in there after.
What does that mean? Oh, I can use it. Wait, that's so cute.
Yeah. The
only shot glasses I could find in my house are these cute little ones that I use for baking. This has me fearful. It's kind of like the closet unhaul, but drunk. First, let's find a book haul from exactly 1 year ago, because I want it to have summer vibes. Ooh, summer. I even called it summer book haul. There's a sun in the thumbnail, a palm tree in the title. Let's give it a whirl. I don't really want to commit to more than 4 books in this vlog, so we'll see how many shots I'll have to take before I get to 4 books. Maybe I should set some kind of like boundaries at the beginning of this. I want to end up with 4 books by the end, and things will just like work out for me, I think. Hello friends, it's Kayla. I'm here to do my final book haul of the summer. I purchased around 20 things. 20 things. Okay. Oh, a reason that I was thinking let me do a year ago is because if I go back 5-7 years, it's gonna be a lot of things that I've unhauled, or maybe they're deep in the TBR closet and I don't want to read them. I feel like something a year ago will be a mix. Maybe there'll be something in the TBR closet, but hopefully most of the things are right here and I'm like excited to read them because I picked them up pretty recently. I feel like this is my most informed book haul in a while. Like I didn't buy, I don't think anything outside of the box and just wild and doesn't make sense. Everything I have a reason for. Not that I need to give it to you. No, you need to give it to me. Let's start with this stack right here, which I've actually already read all of these. Okay, so we'll just skip through this. We got Immortal Longings, we got Dead 11. I've read all of these. I do usually start my book hauls with things that I've already read. I forgot about that. So we've got Sucker, we've got The Beast You Are, The God of Endings, Un Out of Order, Men We Reaped, a lot of good stuff. Only One Left, A Twisted Love Story, People Change. This is exactly halfway through the video, so I feel like it's about to shift. I also had this one pre-ordered, 0 Days by Ruth Ware. Obviously, I'm a Ruth Ware girl. I was planning on reading it for summer week and didn't get around to it. Oh, I have read that since. And then I also had this one pre-ordered, Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. Okay, here's our first contender. Do I want to read it in this vlog this weekend, or do I want to take a shot? This is a tough one for the very first one. I don't want to like take all of my shots right away in case some books show up that I really don't want to read. This one I feel kind of indifferent towards. It's horror. It's an author that I enjoy, but it also feels like a lot to commit to a book this early in the game show. I'm committing to it. Okay, this is gonna get read in this vlog. What's next? Because I read Pew by Catherine Lacey a couple months back, I decided to pick up Biography of X. Okay, so I didn't know that I was gonna read this as soon as I did. I felt like when I bought this, it was gonna sit on my TBR shelf for a long time. But then I was doing a reading books because of TikTok favorites, and I ended up reading it. I only gave it a 3, but that one's checked off, so I don't have to do anything. Next, because I really liked Erotic Stories by Punjabi Widows last year, I picked up By Gorgeous Wall's latest, Now You See Us. I feel like I read the first chapter of that, but I don't see it. Did I put it in the TBR closet? 1 second. I do feel like I read this first chapter. I don't know for sure, but should I commit to it or should I take a shot? There's still such a chance for books to show up that I like actively don't want to read, and therefore like, why would you own them, Kayla? But I think I'm gonna commit to that. I think I'm cool with that. The shot is going back down. I'm too nervous to take a shot of tequila right now. Then the next two are video specific things. So one of them at the beginning of the year, so I've already read these. I got was Hawk Mountain. So I have read that since. Okay, good. And then this one I've had pre-ordered for so long. I liked both of those books. This one is just one that I have had on my radar for a while, and I have read that since. I read that for another like book community members favorites video. I might have to watch another haul. I'm so successful. Now the next two are a little less informed. It's kind of a mix because I have recently taken all of my romance off of my TBR shelf.
Oh,
That doesn't mean
no.
I'm not reading it. That doesn't mean I'm unhauling it. But what it means is it's going to be in more specific dedicated videos rather than me slipping romance into like other TBRs, because romance is just not hitting for me this year. I purchased these two before I made that decision that I wasn't gonna put it into many TBRs anymore. And they make sense because they're both about fake dating. And I'm still very much into fake dating, I think. So we have If I Never Met You by Vari McFarlane. And then the same thing is true for this one, Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. Okay, so could I read romance in this vlog? Yes. Am I going to? No, because just like 1 year ago, I am currently embarking on a romance vlog, and I haven't read either of those two books, but they could show up in it at some point because I have to fulfill a bunch of prompts. So, yeah, definitely not adding those two to the TBR. I guess I'll grab them though. Decision time. Am I reading these two books or am I taking 2 shots of tequila? The decision has already been made for me, so this video idea just got really real. This is a little under a shot, but well over half, because I didn't want you to think that I was significantly cheating. Oh my God. Cheers, I guess. Not bad. Oh my God. I'm not doing that again right away. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a yogurt bowl. I'm just trying to set myself up for success because I'm thinking if I'm about to just get sloshed, it is already 2 p.m., don't worry. But then I have to like handle a knife after multiple shots of tequila. That's just not setting myself up for success. So let's do this now and then I'll put it in the fridge so I can have it later when I'm less capable of this. Plus I just need to take a couple minutes in between shots. And this is a great intermission activity for me. Okay, now this will be in the fridge waiting for me later. We're back. It's been like 10 minutes. I'm feeling a little something. I don't think I've had a drink since maybe camping last year. I don't even drink at pub trivia night. The reason I win pub trivia night is because I keep my mind sharp by just drinking water. Okay, Google, how many shots of tequila is a reasonable amount of tequila?
A healthy adult can generally consume in approximately 7 to 8 shots of tequila before reaching an alcohol level that will make them drunk.
No shot. What? Why would you use a tequila brand's website as your answer? This recovery site says anything more than 4 shots in an hour can be dangerous as it leads to blackouts and alcohol poisoning. We're switching to half shots. We were doing 3/4 shots. Now we're doing half shots. And I guess these two are the ones that make the least amount of sense because they were a little bit impulse purchases. This one I literally just bought today. It's called My Murder by Katie Williams. And I've heard it's a mystery thriller. Okay. I've read this one, but, and then I grabbed this one because the cover is just everything to me. It's called Dark Archives by Megan Rosenblum. And I think it's about books that are bound in human skin. I don't want to read that. That's the last book in the haul. I'll go get it, I guess. Is she reading it? Is she drinking? I I have read so much nonfiction this past month that I'm just really, like, honestly not in the mood. So it feels like I'm drinking a whole shot. I'll add my grape juice. No, not grape juice. Grapefruit juice. Cheers to you. Ooh. Yeah, better. Okay. I have a whole playlist I just put together of 120, apparently, is how many book hauls I've posted. And I'm just gonna click on one randomly. So here's everything. Here's them all here. Oh, this one's cute. First book haul of 2020. So we're going 4+ years in the past. What books do I still have to read from the beginning of 2020 when we were all just naive and life looked pleasant? I'm still looking for 2 books to add to these 2. I got a really big package today that's super exciting, and it included 10 copies of the other people. This is when I started the Literally Dead book club. Oh my gosh. I didn't read all 10 copies, but I did read one, so check. This is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. Oh gosh. I've read that. Then I was sent Wildfire by Carrie Mack, which I'm really excited about. I've read that. What is that? It's called The Spite Game by Anna Snow Extra. I love the idea of dark games. Not only do I not recognize that, I swear I've never seen that book in my life. I don't own that anymore. That is absolutely not in my TBR closet. Maybe I read the beginning and didn't want to continue. I've unhauled it. So I don't have to read it and I don't have to take a shot, right? Flight of the Hummingbird. I read that one. Read that one. Read that one. Read that one. I've read that one. I've read that one. Wait, have I read everything from this video? Obviously read it and loved it. We just went through an entire book haul and I've read everything and now I need to pick something else. Let's do another summer one. Chaotic Summer Book Haul. Okay, I'm starting again with books I've already read. So read that. We'll just scroll through all of these. Read that, read that, read that. I picked up some graphic novels. I know. Oh. I picked up Dracula and Frankenstein. I did read both of those. I never actually talked about Dracula because I kind of skimmed it. So I read it. Wait, next thing I haven't read, maybe I'll say yes to. I definitely wanted to pick up some classic things. And then I also picked up this, which I did not know was 800 pages. I always like to have an anthology for a readathon. It's still pretty ambitious. Too ambitious to even pick up. I didn't know. No. Well, I didn't read it for the readathon I was planning on reading on. I didn't read it for the readathon that I was planning on reading it for. And I'm not going to read it in this video. Like, that's obviously. So, shot or book? It's the shot. Do I just drink it right out of here? I don't understand why these come with 50 mils when a shot is like 43. Hey, now we'll have a good comparison between Margaritaville and Patron. So, ready? Oh, it smells worse. It doesn't taste worse. No more shots. I've already rejected 4 books. Please, something I want to read next. One of the buddy reads is one of the next books that I picked up. Read that. Her follow-up hasn't been getting great reviews. I read that one. Next book is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. I read that one. Let's talk about this. I read that one. I picked up Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin. I DNF'd and unhauled that one, so I don't need to finish it. I had my eye out for some future childhood favorites book collection series that I did find, but I don't want to haul because it would spoil upcoming childhood favorites videos. But I'm very excited about everything I found. And while I was there, I found 2 spacey books that have been recommended to me relentlessly, and I know you will all be very excited that I picked these both up. I bought that and planned to read it, and then I don't think I read it for like 2-3 more years. I think it was a members TBR jar pick. I can't remember. So I've read that, but the next one. This one is called 172 Hours on the Moon, but it was directly recommended by somebody in person a couple months ago who was like, this is your book. Like, you are going to love it. It fucked me up. This is a tough one because a lot of people read it when they were like teenagers and said that it was so impactful for them. I think there's like a twist in it that since talking about it multiple times, and even in this haul, I feel like there are comments on this video, I'm feeling a little woozy, that say, oh, that isn't actually that good. Like, it's not gonna change your life. It's not the most incredible thing. But I've held on to it all of these years. Now to find it. Am I reading it or am I taking another shot? I don't think I can take another shot. I don't think. I'm reading this weekend, and now I have 3 books. So 1 more. Should I just commit to like the next book that I see? I'm gonna say yes to. I am ready for a nap, honestly. But let's find our last book. The last one is called Dreams from Many Rivers, A Hispanic History of the United States. I have read that. I have to find another haul. Let's just do this one because I like the colors of the thumbnail and the title's different. It's not just book haul, it's I bought some new books, let me tell you about them. Hello friends, it's Kayla and it's time for my first book haul of 2023. So here are the 12 things that I bought in the last month. 12, that's it. Starting with ones I've read again. Sword Heart, I've read. Gemina, I've read. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. I hadn't read this in the moment, but I've read it since. I read it in a video where I was predicting books ratings once I read them. I didn't love this as much as other people, but I have read it. What else? Thrifted. Apt Pupil by Stephen King. I read this before when it was in an anthology called Different Seasons. Now, should I count this as a book I need to read? Because I did buy it. I still have it on my shelf, but I haven't actually read this physical copy. And Different Seasons I read literally as a child, like probably 12, 13 years old. And when I talked about it in this video, what it was about, I remember getting comments that are like, oh, you definitely do not remember this book. Like, it's more fucked up than you thought. And so in my mind, I committed to this being on my TBR. This one is about a student, and I think he learns that his teacher has done some terrible things and is going to turn him over to the police, but is going to like look into it and learn about it himself first. I don't know if I'll ever reread that. I feel like maybe. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to count this one because here's why. I'm feeling a little fuzzy headed, and I think it would be fun for me to read one of these books today. And these are all kind of long, but this one is a novella. If you clicked on this expecting me to like drunkenly read something, I could fulfill that right now by reading this novella in this current state. And I think this is a nice TBR that we've built. And also I just want to lie down. Let's cut the cameras. I found 4 books. I'm done. I'm gonna eat my yogurt and I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on it. Okay? Okay, deal. Were right that I didn't remember exactly what's going on in here, but what is 28 pages in is we're following Todd, who is a 13-year-old boy, and he finds out that this local man was a Nazi soldier and becomes enamored with it and wants this man to tell him in detail every horrific act that he committed. And so now that's what I'm reading, is the horrific acts that he committed, murdering people. So okay, I'm all sobered up because I don't know, I just like the concept was read a fun, silly, wild horror book while you're drunk, have some silly reactions, and then like this just turned out to not be that. So the video did not kick off as intended, but Rob and Lamb went to see Deadpool and Wolverine and they brought me back a salad because that's what sounded very delicious. I can't say that I had a good time reading the book, but I don't think anybody would say that. It's not really something that you want to be reading, but you can still appreciate like the prose of it. And I think it gives an insight into like young men being influenced and turning to violence and crime. Basically, this man and this boy end up like impacting each other or have the ability to impact each other. So it's kind of a blackmail situation. Like they both know each other's secrets. They both know how to get the other one in trouble. And so they're taking advantage of each other. The book is just like constant dialogue between the two of what their lives are like and how they're gonna ruin the other person if this gets exposed and that happens. And of all the Stephen King to reread, like this isn't one. This isn't one that you read and you're like, ooh, I can't wait to give that another go. But while reading it, I didn't really remember reading it in the first place. I wouldn't want to reread it now. I guess it's been turned into a movie that a lot of people have watched. I didn't even realize that until people commented it, but I'm done with this. I'm done for the day of reading, and I'll check in with you when I pick up something else. I love how I kicked off the video saying we're not big drinkers, and then in the next clip I'm literally wearing, you probably couldn't tell, but it was a Jack Daniels tank top that I've had since high school. And then in the next clip Rob was wearing a Guinness shirt, so I guess it's representative of the video. I was gonna fold those, I changed my mind. Horror still feels like the place that I want to be in this vlog right now because next week I'm going to be reading exclusively haunted house books, and so I want to end this reading week with like the sci-fi and the general fiction. So I'll be reading the Eric LaRocca today. This one I read the first chapter of in a reading the first chapter of everything on my TBR shelf type of video, and I remember it not grabbing my attention, but it was, if I'm remembering properly, this man named Ghost who was at, I want to say a hospital for something, and there was a little girl there, and he like went up to her and said, I could grant you a wish, and she asked for, what did she ask for? She asked for like the nurses to not take any longer, and then immediately when he said that, the nurse came out, and the mom was like, oh my god, what if she'd asked for a pony? And so the implication is that he's not like a magical entity actually, but like, is he? I don't know, and I don't really remember what this is about, so let's find out. A dangerous ritual of dark magic, a mysterious old gentleman named Hart Crowley, and unbridled hatred simmering beneath the guise of the town's idyllic community. I think there's like a lot of things going on in here all at once. There's a lot of different parts. Obviously, well, if you don't know, this author is known for short stories. I've read so many short stories from them, and this is his first full-length novel, correct? Anyway, I'm gonna run through the first half of it because it's actually really widely spaced and looks quick to read. And there's a lot of pages that don't really have a lot on them. Okay, hey, if I look a little rough, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't update you. I think that's pretty clear. For a lot of reasons. I didn't like this book, and I was waiting to like the book or to like something about it to update you, and that never happened. And then I was busy doing like a million other things with my family, and then Rob went to bed early, and I didn't want to update you when he was falling asleep, because if I woke him up I would have felt so bad. So now it's 1 o'clock and I'm updating you, and I could have waited until the morning, but I have so many things on my plate, so I just stayed up so I could tell you about this. I did not like this. I don't know if it's a 1 or a 2. I feel as though not everybody gets Eric LaRocca's stuff, and this is such a bummer because this is how I felt about the last Stephen Graham Jones. I was like, I'm a Stephen Graham Jones girl. Like, that's my thing. Other people don't get it. I get it. I get Eric LaRocca. I have loved things from this author, and I wanted to be into it, and I didn't realize how hated this was until I just finished it and I went and looked at reviews. This has one of the lowest ratings I've ever seen on Goodreads. One of my main thoughts about it is that I read a lot of his short stories, and this felt like 2 of his short stories, but he just decided to connect them at the very end and make it into a novel. And I just don't feel like this was set out to be a novel, and it shouldn't have been a novel. Not that either of the 2 stories honestly stood strongly on their own anyway, but this is not a novel. So there's the one story about Ghost, whatever, did not care about that, did nothing for me. And then we have another story following this couple, and they are being hate crimed in their neighborhood. And even the police come to their house and they're like, well, if you didn't flaunt your like gay relationship around the neighborhood, maybe people wouldn't try to hurt you. Like, what the fuck? So I like when horror books do that blend of the horrors of reality and the horrors of the supernatural. But that wasn't, it was just like a general fiction. So like it was sad and it was difficult, but it just didn't do anything but make you feel bad. And then the other story, I don't want to spoil it, but like the supernatural element is something I really did not like. I didn't like the direction it went. I didn't like the explanation. And then not only that, but everything happening in that story, I was not into. The disability representation, I think, was harmful. I'm gonna have to read some more reviews about it, but I do want to go to bed. And obviously horror is meant to make you feel uncomfortable. It's meant to make you feel uneasy, and this author has done that plenty of times before, and maybe in questionable ways. But especially like the assault scene, it was uncomfortable in like not a fun, like, oh my god, horror, like cringy, like it was like, no, let's not say things like this in a rape scene. I don't think the representation of that makes me feel very good. I don't even like the representation of parenthood. The way people were constantly leaving this child places or like not noticing where she was, it just didn't even make sense how inattentive they were when that's not the characters that they were built out to be. It was like, good parents don't make these decisions, these mistakes, and it was just convenient for the plot, and it was annoying. And honestly, just the writing itself was hard to read. Maybe because of the length, because I know that I've liked their metaphors before. This one was just so steeped in metaphor, every single line. And also by the end, I don't even think I get the point. And I don't like to admit that. So I both didn't like it and didn't get it, which is not a good feeling. And if the next book doesn't go well, I might scrap this entire vlog. So I'm definitely gonna go with the one that seems more likely for me to enjoy, because who the heck knows about this one? Hello and good morning. I'm reading Now You See Us today, but first we started our day, there's a hair somewhere, with going to the driving range. And I told you, I think 2 years ago, I was gonna become a professional tennis player. Unfortunately, I know, the dreams are dashed. I don't think that's gonna happen for me. So weird. So now I've decided I'm gonna be a professional golfer. And the good news is my accuracy, no, my, what do you call it when you successfully hit, like I never miss the ball. I just don't have any accuracy, strength, or just natural agility. But I am going forth with that dream. So that's how we started our date. Now we're gonna go home and read a book. All right, we have come home and I did the live show for the Literally Dead Book Club, and now I have a couple hours off. The boys are doing recycling and getting an oil change before we go on our trip in a couple days. And then once I get home, Rob and I are doing a game night with the channel members, which is gonna be very fun, I think. So in the meantime, I need to finish this book. Here's how far I got into it. And I've been reading it for a while, on and off, and haven't updated you. I don't know how I feel about it. I think the exploration of all of these women is good and it's important what it's highlighting. It's 3 women from the Philippines, and they have been hired to be maids and caregivers in Singapore for like the wealthy elite. And it's highlighting abuses and things that happen within the industry and how people are preyed upon and whatnot. And the 3 women are all so vivid as characters. It is really a study of them, but it's also wanting to be a kind of murder mystery, and I just don't know if it's balancing everything perfectly for me at the halfway point. We have Cora, Angel, and Donita, and they're all in very different situations with their jobs. One of them has a boss who is like a little too friendly, who's just like, it's a little uncomfortable, their relationship dynamic, because she just wants to get her job done. She knows that she is seen as being beneath the woman, but she's trying so hard to seem like she loves her, like she's a friend, but she's like paying her, so it makes her feel uncomfortable. And then there's one girl who's pretty new to the work and isn't being treated fairly, is being judged, and the family she's working for is very judgmental, and they want to get rid of her, but there are certain policies in place for like giving your nanny back or whatever. And then one of the other women, I don't feel like we're getting as much about her, but she was just in a relationship, and she is talking about this woman a lot, and I just don't know where that storyline is going to go. But at this point, there has been the introduction of a mystery. And I didn't go into it expecting it to be like the plot or anything, but at this point, I just feel like I don't know where the book is going necessarily, or how I'm supposed to feel about everything, what I'm supposed to want for all of these people. Obviously, it's a very like serious topic. Like, there are a lot of serious things going on, but there's occasionally a little tongue-in-cheek, humorous moment, but not in the same way that the last book I read from this author did it. So I was expecting this to be more lighthearted, I guess, but I understand why it's not. So I don't know. I'm having an odd time with it, I guess, and I don't think I'm going to update you until I finish, because I just don't know. I just don't think I'm going to be able to figure out what I even think about this book until I'm done it. And hopefully that will be within the next 2 hours, so I can finish it before my game night. And the game is played in the comments, so you don't have to have this open on your device. Legs for 3?
Yeah.
3 things related to legs is crazy.
I know, but I want to be a little spicy. It's stressful now. They're doing well, though.
Yeah, I forgot Sherlock was on the board, and that
Let's go blue!
Okay, that unfortunately was our assassin card.
Sugar Daddy?
Sugar Daddy's crazy. Sugar Father?
Damn!
Yes! Did you think they would think of microwave?
No.
That didn't even cross my mind.
That is literally the closest you could lose by winning. Was that game. So I get to pick whatever one in Red Team reads officially. That's my winning.
We all have to read, or I just have to read?
I don't know, whatever whoever wants to read it. Now, the one that I'm thinking of
I'm not
is
looking.
that one. What do you guys think?
What?
They're saying closet shelf.
Do not go in the closet. Are you out of your mind?
We'd get lost. I'm going in the closet, okay? I'll be back. Don't miss me.
This is so stressful.
This one's cool.
I have no idea what this is. What is wrong with you?
You hated the first book, didn't you?
What is wrong with you? You guys, I'm never.
You chose evil.
I'm never talking to you again. I did indeed finish this before the live show. I just had the most fun doing a live show, and we're gonna do it again probably in a couple weeks. So if you want to join in and play Codenames, me versus Rob, if you want to be on Team Rob, you'll probably pick him. He won, I think, 4 out of 6 games. Is that right? Yeah. I knew you were listening to me. And apparently the decision was made during the live show at some point by somebody else. That if he won, he could choose a book that I read. So he did that very randomly. You can also influence the next book that I have to read if I lose. Or if he loses, maybe we can make him read a book. So tune in next time, join my membership, link down below. We'll be doing it again. This, unfortunately, was a 3 point, I want to say 3.5. It feels like more of a 3. Yeah. I really liked the themes of this. You're following women who are not seen by society. They're people who are not treated well, and you get an insight into their life. And obviously this isn't nonfiction, but it felt good to witness people who are constantly brushed away, who do such important jobs, such helpful jobs. But that's just like society in general, right? Like the women who are running homes and running things don't get the accolades and the attention they deserve. But the plot itself, it just didn't really do a lot for me. And it wasn't the same tone at all as the first book that I read from this author. And that's why I picked this up, because I know the synopsis talks about heavier subject matter, but I just loved the writing and how kind of fun and serious that book balanced. And this one just didn't do that. I think it was trying to do too many things. Having 3 equally main characters was a lot. And I don't know if everyone's motivations were super clear as far as the mystery goes. And then honestly, just the mystery itself, I didn't care too much about. I cared about these women because the book developed them well, but then it just ended up feeling really chaotic. Like one got more attention than the other and they didn't all balance perfectly. And then all of them weren't equally balanced with the actual plot backing it up. But again, the themes were good. Making space for yourself and finding a community and feeling empowered, that was all great. I think maybe the fun, just like something different, something interesting, was how it inserted a lot of like Facebook messages. There's the women who have employed these other women, they chat about them, they talk about them, they think that they're being kind and thoughtful, and they'll say things like, I love my maid and she does everything so perfectly, she's always so helpful, but she wants Sunday off, and don't you think that's ungrateful? And I think these were meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, like how ridiculous do these women sound, but this is reality, especially when you have a group of people around you like encouraging you to have bad behavior. It was a little like elevated ridiculousness, still felt very rooted in the reality of the women in this book. So I don't know, I feel so like weird about this book. I really wanted to love it, and I think maybe I just feel weird about the vlog in general, but I'm gonna read one more. I don't know if it's gonna be a huge win, but we'll see. I actually find myself pleasantly surprised by this one so far. I'm halfway through, and I will say, like, teens in space used to be pretty bread and butter for my channel. I used to be really well known for reading all of the teens in space like competition books and ranking them and talking about them, and that's just not something that I read a lot or at all current day. So I kind of figured that my feelings about this would be, it's fine, but not for me. But then the ending and whatever the heck is gonna get revealed, which at this point I can't even really predict, that's what would solidify like at least a 3, maybe a 4-star. But I'm already enjoying it at this point, not in a way that like I think it's gonna be a new favorite by any means, but I'm enjoying myself. I tried out the audiobook and it's only from one narrator, which just wasn't working for me. We are following 3 different teens from the ages of, I think it was 14 to 18. I started this last night. And they have this opportunity to go to space. It's just like this lottery. Like they don't actually have to do anything. Their applications are completely at random. Any teen in the world can apply. They do have to then meet certain physical criteria and get like checked over by doctors and whatever, and go through all of the training. But it's just them waiting to see if they're going to get chosen for the first chunk. And there's 3 different characters, Maya, and she's like part of a band and she never wanted to go, and her parents actually submitted her application for her. And then there's this guy who recently got out of a relationship and he's going, and then this other girl, oh yeah, she lives in Japan, and the other ones live in Norway and France. And she was worried about like the type of life she was going to have. She didn't want to conform. She didn't want to go with society and what they want of her. And she just found like the Harajuku scene and finally feels like she found herself, and thinks that this trip, actually for all of them, it's not even about the trip. Maya comes around and wants to go, but it's about the life they want to have after, because this opportunity is only 172 hours on the moon. And it's only a couple like weeks of preparing. At this point, they've already arrived on the moon, but they all imagine that this will jumpstart their like independent life. So Maya and her band will get recognition. Antoine will like find a new relationship. Midori will get to maybe, I think it was one of the girls wanted to move to America after, and all of the opportunities like in New York. And so it was interesting because a lot of books I read like this, it starts off with like a lot of training or talking about how these people are the perfect people to go to space, how they've spent their entire lives doing this type of sport or this type of preparation, hoping that they could be an astronaut. None of them, that was part of their life trajectory. It just kind of fell into their lap. And also, it's unlike a lot of space training books because there's no competition after they just like get their names pulled out of a hat. And that we didn't even really learn that. It was just like the mom walked into the room and was like, you're going to space. A letter came in the mail, whatever. It wasn't like this big broadcast thing, and it wasn't people vying for stuff. Like they didn't bring like 10 kids on and only 5 kids were gonna get to go, which is how a lot of books go like this. They're just 3 people, they just went to the moon, now they're on the moon, and what's gonna happen? I don't know. We're also getting little chapters from somebody who used to be an astronaut, who lives in like a senior residence, and so people aren't listening to him, and I think he has fears of this trip. What's interesting about it, well, what's like fun to look at is it's big and bold, and occasionally there are pictures of random things, like that's where the Sea of Tranquility is. There's paperwork that we get to read from the mission, and like I'm having a good time. What they're going to come upon, I don't know. Like what's really out there? Are they gonna discover aliens? Are they gonna discover, like, part of me was thinking, okay, it's probably just like a big simulation. They think they're going to the moon, and at the end we find out they were never on the moon to begin with. But they're definitely on the moon. And from here, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but I'll tell you if the shocking thing that everybody talks about, if it shocked me. Actually, maybe I'll just film myself reading the second half, because no, that's like 150 pages. Hopefully I can anticipate when we're about to find something out, and you can get my live reaction. Thank you very much. I finished my shark. Rob was just admiring it, right?
Yeah.
This was from 2 vlogs ago. I, for some reason, thought that I could finish the entire cross-stitch shark in the shark vlog. I was mistaken. What are you snacking on?
Orange freezy.
My orange freezy?
There's 2 more.
I only eat the orange freezies.
Not anymore.
No, like, I didn't say only I eat the orange freezies. But I also eat my freezies way slower than anyone else. So the box has been empty except for orange for probably a month. Would you say? When did you finish your last freezie?
Long.
And now my orange ones belong to everyone, I guess. This is Chauncey. I finished my book, and as you could see, there was no footage. Oh, check out my bruise. Can you see it? I dropped a whole bike on myself. Anyway, as you can see, there is no footage of me reading it because I could not, in fact, tell when there was about to be a reveal. So let me reenact at like 3/4 of the way through the moment that explained the horror that was happening on the moon, because this is horror sci-fi, which I didn't know. This was my reaction. Oh, okay. And then I continued to not film because I thought the reveals were over. But then this was my reaction at maybe 3 pages from the end. No. I didn't see that ending coming, and I quite liked it. But the explanation of like the weird stuff that's going on in space, because they're kind of hallucinating. Each of the people before they leave for the moon sees something that's unexplained. And then once they're on the moon, they also start to see weird things, and they're coming up with ideas of why. Maybe they're oxygen deprived, maybe, you know, all of these ideas. And the actual answer for it was more horror. And I historically don't love when horror and science fiction come together. I like them to be separate. But I could see how a lot of people would be very into this. It did read very teen, very young. It was simplistic. I believe if you're somebody who reads a lot of hard sci-fi, adult science fiction, you would have a hard time reading this currently. If you read it back in the day, I definitely understand why this worked for you. Current day, I don't know many people that I would recommend it to. Like, yeah, that ending is almost worth it, but not really, because it's very, do I want to say immature or amateur writing? I'm not sure. It was simple. It was youthful. I have no ill will towards it, but I am going to leave it at a 3. So not the most successful vlog, but hopefully you had a good time watching it. And perhaps you're now leaving me all of the comments down below of how I could make the take a shot or read the book into a different concept that maybe would be more entertaining. I don't know. Anyway, I'm now off on vacation, and I will see you next week with something new. Bye!